All right, still no decision from the grand jury investigating the death of Michael Brown, the black teenager who was shot and killed by a white police officer in Ferguson, Missouri. But Brown's autopsy report has now been leaked to the press. It's the second major leak since the grand jury began. Well, no one has taken responsibility for the disclosures, but what does this mean for the case? Let's bring in our legal guys. Avery Friedman, a civil rights attorney and law professor in Washington this week, and looking oh so dapper in a tuxedo. I can't wait to explain why. And Richard Herman, a New York criminal defense attorney and law professor, joining us from Las Vegas. All right, gentlemen, I think we're going to save that for the end to explain why you're in that beautiful tux, Avery. So we've got the drum beat going. But meantime, let's talk about these leaks. You know, Richard, is this leak an indicator, perhaps, if it's coming from prosecutors even, is it an indicator that maybe there is not going to be an indictment, and so drip, 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 leak out some of this information so that it's a softer blow to the community in particular? Or how do you read this?
Could very well be, Fred. These proceedings, the grand jury proceedings, are supposed to be private. None of this information is supposed to be leaked. By the fact that it was leaked, the community's got to say what's going on with their government if things like this are being leaked when they're not supposed to be. But what's critical here, Fred, is this. The officer testified at the grand jury for 4 hours. The forensics, if they're true and accurate, appear to corroborate his story. And there were 6 black eyewitnesses who also corroborate his version. Don't be surprised. You know, they say you can indict a ham sandwich. He just may very well be a tuna sandwich, and they may not indict in this case.
And Avery, how do you read this? What does it mean?
Tuna? Listen, there are so many leaks here, you need a plumber. The problem is with the grand jury, the community is expecting integrity in the process. And while this is a very unpopular view about this, and they've been going 10 weeks, Frederica, they need to disband this grand jury and start it all over again.
Right.
There are way too many intentional leaks, and if you're going to have integrity in the process, there is no choice. You got to get rid of it, start it all over again.
Really? Well,
yep.
How does one go about that?
That's absurd.
Well,
it's absurd, Fred.
It is
They're
not
never
absurd
going to disband
because
it.
It should be, because, again, the community is not going to trust what the results are. There have been so many leaks that you can't trust the process. And what does that invite? It invites disrespect for the law. It invites a sense of unfairness. And the fact is, it doesn't work. It's not going to work.
And Richard?
Fred, the leaks have absolutely nothing to do with the procedure that's going on behind the doors and the presentation to the grand jury. The problem is, if there are too many different versions of the facts, that jury cannot reasonably rely on a series of facts to come up with probable cause. I think that's what's going on here. I don't think there's going to be an indictment in this case.
Trial issue.